everything around us is a lie. And now I think we kind of get that, generally speaking, but so often we still look at pieces of our lives and pieces of the world around us and we go, yeah, but that's kind of legitimate. That's just kind of how things are. Well, what we don't realize is how many of the things in our lives that we take for granted are really a lie. We are surrounded in this everything bubble. It's not that tech stocks are overvalued. They are. It's not that government bonds are way overpriced because, like, let's just be honest. If you take out a 20 or 30 year treasury note against the federal government, the chances of you actually getting back that full amount of money, unless you sell it to some other sucker, is about zero. You're not going to get that money back. The federal government cannot pay you back. It's a drunk, broke uncle, okay? Broke Uncle Sam. Everybody knows it. And if you don't take that to the bank, I don't know what else. But it's just one thing after the next. The housing market. It's a lie. It's massively overvalued. The fact that people who are working full-time, married or dating or living with someone who's working full-time, so two incomes, they can't afford the down payment for a house, a starter home today, that should tell you that maybe that the housing market is a little bit overvalued. And yet people are depending on the housing market. We're going to walk you through some of the lies that we have out there, how things are turning, and how this is all about to blow up in everybody's face. Now, I'm sorry to be doom and gloom, but I just can't stand people being lied to and people banking their entire lives, their future, on these lies. So let's walk through some of these together. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. If you're not familiar with me, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you've been unsubscribed by the wonderful powers that be, make sure you subscribe again. And I hear that there's a new feature called Hype Points. I always appreciate those. It helps YouTube know that you think that this would be good content for somebody else. All right. So we've been told by President Trump that we got billions and trillions of dollars of foreign investment that's going to be coming in the door, investing in American jobs. Well, is that really the truth? Well, we just have Hyundai. They promised to invest billions of dollars in American infrastructure, American manufacturing. And after the raid, we found out that over 500 of the construction employees that were working to build the plant aren't even supposed to be here. So yes, lots of new jobs, just not for Americans. And that just kind of goes to show kind of the situation by and large that we have going on out there. We got all these cars being sold, but they're not being sold to Americans. They're being sold to other people. How much of the economy of the United States is really actual Americans and how much of it is people who aren't even supposed to be here? And because they have their income under the table, not taxed, doesn't that just make you feel all warm and fuzzy for them? They're making money, but they're not reporting it, so it's untaxed, and then on top of that, they're then using their lack of income to get government benefits. Yeah, if that didn't raise your blood pressure a couple points, if it did, I'm sorry. It's the truth. Well, 300 of those people that were building the Hyundai plant happened to be Koreans who were overstaying their visas. And, if it was a couple dozen, if it was like, a smaller number, I think we could go, okay, well, maybe these contractors didn't intend to hire people who aren't supposed to be here, but they just kind of accidentally picked up some that weren't supposed to be here. Over 500 people without proper documentation building a plant. That's not a whoopsie. That's not an accident, friends. That is downright intentional. That's bad. But another thing that we're looking at, and kind of ties in with that, is jobs. We just got some statistics out here, and I know statistics can be just downright misleading and inaccurate, but The outlook for people newly unemployed, the outlook of them getting a new job within 3 months, just hit a record low. Yeah, that's really bad news. Just dropped another 6% just in August. So if you just got unemployed, if you just got laid off, fired, whatever, and you're trying to get a new job, the chance of you getting a new job in 3 months just cratered to all-time record low. That's not a good number. The fact that Americans can't get jobs, think about how that's going to impact everything else. We have record high real estate prices. Now, how long is that going to stay up at record highs while the fact that Americans can't get jobs? Well, it's okay because housing prices keep going up. The stock market keeps going up. So naturally, if we just keep pretending that our assets are more and more valuable, then it's like we're printing money. Yeah, I know we get on the Federal Reserve for printing money. But the fact of the matter is that we also print money by pretending that real estate prices are as high as we say they are. How many Americans allow their house price go up on paper? They bought it for $150,000 or something like that years and years ago. It's now worth $300,000. And what did they do? They turned around and took a home equity line of credit out on the $300,000 house, took that money, used it to pay bills, maybe even took it and invested in the stock market. Did they actually earn anything? Do they actually have more money? Or do they just have this perception that they have more money? Sure, the bank said they have more money. They think they have more money. But we're already starting to see housing prices are flatlining, and we're going to probably see housing prices decline in the near future. Now, we're already getting mortgage rates are starting to come down, and with the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates, that may make housing prices kind of give another blip, another few months or maybe another year of housing prices going up before the inevitable happens. The inevitable will happen because we keep building new houses and we don't have new people to put in them. Now, for many years, what we've had is that we had 2, 3, 4 people living in a house. Now we have one person living in a house. This epidemic of divorce has lowered significantly the average number of people living in each house. So when everyone was married, you only needed half as many houses. When everybody got divorced and people not marrying, you need more houses, right? And so they've been building houses. And now that we've saturated the market with divorces and people not marrying, now we have lots and lots of people living alone in their houses. So where's the next burst of demand for houses going to come from? Nowhere. In fact, we got a whole bunch of people leaving the country right now, don't we? And as that escalates, we have less people coming into the country, a lot less, not walking across the desert like they were before, and catching rides with vans across the desert. That's being blocked massively. So people aren't coming in anymore, and more people are going out. That means there's going to be less housing demand. We're going to see housing prices possibly coming down in the near future. And, that's a thing for me because I'm getting ready to sell this house myself. If any of you are interested in a great property in the Pittsburgh area, you can always email me about that. I can give you some specifics and stuff. But, it's a great location here because it's near a lot of the Pittsburgh hospitals. So if you need to be close to medical care, but you still want someplace that has a lot of privacy and, is surrounded by farms, it's actually a pretty good location. If you have to be near the city, but you want to be kind of outside, this place is off-grid solar and stuff like that. I'm not here to plug my house, though. Yeah, I'm kind of in a little bit of a bind there with housing prices are starting to soften up, right? Will my house be worth less in the future? I don't know. But it's going to get harder and harder to sell it, maybe, because Americans are, by and large, cash strapped. People don't have the money. They're having a hard time getting the loans from the banks and everything. So we have housing prices are unmoved the last couple months, and people are projecting that it's going to come down. Now, real estate agent I just starting to talk to, he's thinking that things will pick up once the interest rates come down. People are going to wait for the mortgage rates to come down, and then people are going to get back into it. But still, it's a bubble. And a bubble is defined as you're paying more than things are worth because you're hoping that you can sell those things to somebody else, a bigger sucker. There'll be a bigger sucker that will come along. And that's basically the idea of a bubble. That's what happened with the tulip mania, right, in Amsterdam, the Dutch tulip mania. They're buying up tulips, sort of like how we buy up Bitcoin these days. Do we really need to pay that much money for a tulip? No, not really. But everyone was buying tulips, so you're going to buy them, wait for a little bit, and then sell them to some other sucker who's going to pay even more for them. And that's basically how the stock market's working. I mean, we're looking at 40 times price to earnings for the stock market, which is just patently insane. Tech stocks are just massively overvalued, and you have companies like Dollar Tree, Dollar General. You have stores like Walmart that are massively overvalued when it comes to price to earnings. We're assuming that everything is going to be peachy fine for the next 30 or 40 years, and we're going to keep making the same amount of money as we were. And people seem to think that's a great idea. But when we ask people, and they asked people what their financial situation looks like this year as opposed to last year, and compare that also with what's their expectation of what their financial situation next year will look like, we did not hear good stuff. The median expected growth in household income remained unchanged for the second month. They don't think they're going to make more money. People don't expect to make more money at their job, but they believe that their financial situation will decline in the next 12 months. That's not good. And they, by and large, saw that their situation actually degraded more since last year. So American families majority are seeing that things have gotten worse for them in the past 12 months. They think it's going to get worse for them in the next 12 months. They think that prices are going to go up, but they think that their wages are going to stay the same. Is this sounding healthy to you at all? I mean, we generally would expect in a healthy economy people to think that, hey, we're going to be in a better financial situation next year than we are today. There's not that level of optimism. When they talk about housing prices, they're very optimistic. When they talk about the stock market, everybody agrees that the stock market only goes up, which is dangerous. When everybody agrees on something like that, then that means that you've hit the peak. Once everybody's buying the tulip bulbs and smoking them in their pipes or whatever, that's when you know the tulip mania. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can just Google that, look up Wikipedia, the tulip mania. It's considered one of the first bubbles where people were literally buying tulip bulbs and selling them and buying them for just massively overvalued rates until the whole bubble collapsed. We're in this situation where financial analysts are now calling this not the tech bubble. They're not calling this like that happened in 2000, 2001. They're not calling this a great financial crisis or the mortgage bubble, which happened in 2008. They're calling this the everything bubble because everything is massively overvalued. So if you listen to the commentators and stuff like that, that's what they're calling it, is the everything bubble. Well, if everything is massively overvalued and everything is about to burst, what happens when everything collapses in value? Well, hopefully our country is too big to fail. But the truth is, it probably isn't. When we look at the earnings of companies compared to 2008, we actually see that companies are making about the same amount of money as they did back then, and the value of that. When you account for inflation, companies are making about the same amount of money now as they were back in 2008. The companies didn't grow. They're not making a lot more money, and in fact, their costs of operating are going up and up and up. And they're seeing more and more people can't afford to buy their products. It flabbergasts me that people are looking at the situation financially and saying, yeah, we're in good shape. We're not. Everything is truly a lie. From politics to the, God bless President Trump, but it's too little too late. I'm sorry, that's my opinion on the matter. It's just too little too late. He's turning things around, but we've already gone off the cliff. Titanic is sinking. You can't turn this thing around. We have so much massive debt that you can't turn this thing around. And it's not like Congress is really working with him to turn things around. He can't massively reform Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. These are the big things. He's spending more on defense, but it's just not enough. You can't stop the massive increase in the national debt, and that's what's going to sink us. Everything else is bad and growing worse, but the national debt is the thing that when it implodes, it will take out the entire U.S. economy with it. So hopefully you guys are stocking up on things like precious metal. Hopefully you guys are getting property, real estate property that you can actually grow food on, that you can live on, and you can hopefully avoid notice by other people. And that's what I tried to do with this property here. Really like it here. But I'm heading overseas to get married, and I'm putting this place up, and maybe even move out to South Dakota when we come back. That's a definite consideration. South Dakota is a little more out of the ways, isn't it? So, all right, friends, let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below about the situation with the housing prices, with the stock markets, with just the situation that people and families in the United States are finding themselves in, where they believe that they're going to be in a worse financial situation going forward. And hey, if you're interested in finding out more about this house, if you like the Pittsburgh area, it's actually pretty good for retirees and everything. Shoot me an email. That's poplarpreparedness@gmail.com. I'm about to talk with a real estate agent to get this place listed soon. So, all right, friends, keep moving forward. Keep getting more prepared because hard times are coming. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report.